What's going on, Titans fans? It's Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports. And coming up on today's show, we're going to be looking at some potential cut candidates. You got to face the facts. You got to get down from an 80-man all the way down to a 53-man roster. Mike Vrabel, he's going to have some tough decisions to make. So I thought, you know what, Mike? I got your back. I'm going to help you out to make some of these difficult decisions. But Chat Sports is an interactive show. I don't only want to be the only one helping them out. Y'all need to go down in the comments and help out Vrabel make some of these difficult decisions. I want you to name a player that should be cut. Is it a difficult thing to do? Yeah, because somebody loses their job. But these are grown men. This is the job, and this is how the business is run. So spam those names down in the comments. Let's go to the very first cut candidate here on today's show. I'm going to look at a quarterback, and it's going to be Logan Woodside. Not too many surprises here, right? Ryan Tannehill, he's the starting quarterback. And then you draft a Malik Willis, who personally, I couldn't believe the fact that he fell all the way to round 3. If you would have asked me days before the draft, what's the furthest Willis would have slid? I don't know if I thought he would have fell out of the first round. I loved all his tools. I think his mechanics need a little bit of work, but you can see the raw talent is absolutely there. Hell, Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner said that guy has all of the tools. So when you talk about Woodside, who's been predominantly the backup to Ryan Tannehill, and then Malik Willis, when you compare a lot of their preseason stats, yeah, Woodside might be the more prototypical pocket passer, but this guy has been bad, y'all. 21 of 31, 158 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Compared to Willis, where, yeah, the completion percentage is down, but 187 yards, 1 passing, 1 rushing touchdown, also 80 rushing yards for Willis, and no interceptions. So I think this one is a pretty simple one here, but hey, I want to know down in the comment section, pick a quarterback too, because I understand that sometimes people are afraid to get the rookie out there, or the term is throwing them to the wolves, but that's not what Willis is. Willis is ready to compete. Hell, I think he's ready to compete with Ryan Tannehill if it was up to me. But you pick your quarterback to LW or MW. Let's go to the wide receiver position next up here on Titans Today, sponsored by BetUS. Make sure you guys go to chatsports.com/bet. Promo code chat125. Dez Fitzpatrick is a player that I liked when he first came out of college. But I do think that the writing is on the walls, and one of my favorite, and I mean favorite sleepers this year, especially in a PPR league for fantasy football watchers, is Kyle Phillips. I think Kyle Phillips is going to be one of those names that starts getting brought up, and I know I'm going to throw out some big names here, but like a Hunter Renfrow, like a Cooper Kupp. Not saying he's a phenomenal athlete, but he's the best route runner on this team. He has the best footwork on this team, and he's been really working his way up this depth chart. Robert Woods is going to be your wide receiver 1. A lot of question marks around Treylon Burks. I actually truly believe that Kyle Phillips, by the end of the year, could have the second most targets on this team, which means, unfortunately for Dez, probably going to be on the way out. I like Racey McMath. They have a lot of depth, I personally believe, on this Titans wide receiver room. For all of those reasons, Dez, sorry, bro. I don't know if you're going to be making it. We got a few more cut candidates coming up here on the show, but I teased it just a few minutes ago. BetUS, best place to put down all of your sports bets this year, whether it's NFL, NBA, college football. We got it all for you. And you can go to chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is chat125. That's going to get you a 125% deposit bonus. Now, personally, I like betting on a lot of games from top to bottom, and you can look at a lot of different things. But for me personally, the fact that you can get a 125% deposit bonus, and all you got to do is go to chatsports.com/bet, I think that sounds pretty good. Let's go to the next cut candidate here on today's show. We're maneuvering here. I know, we're chugging along, but remember, if I throw out any of these names and you don't like them, you can always yell at me because I'll be looking. Let's go to Geoff Swaim. You're next up here as a tight end. And Swaim's been on this show not once, not twice. LeBron James said it best, I don't even know, 3-4 times. He continues to be a cut candidate because you went out, you got yourself Austin Hooper. You got the young tight end, Adam Maryland, who potentially could be your replacement for Swaim. And he was just used because you had to use him. You didn't have Jonnu Smith anymore. You were trying to find a replacement. Yeah, he had 31 catches, 210 yards. But Swaim doesn't really do anything spectacular. Austin Hooper, I thought, was super underutilized in Cleveland. I like Chig a lot from his time in Maryland. He's definitely a better pass catcher. And if you're an up-and-coming team, I would rather get Chig more reps than Geoff Swaim. I'm sorry. So for that reason, it's time to move on, my man. We got 5 more cut candidates here on today's show, so please stick with us here. But would you cut them? Type C for cut, type K for keep. You be the GM. You make the decision. Would you keep a third tight end? Is he good enough to be the third tight end? Is it worth the money? All those things should go in your mind. We're now going to go to the defensive end room, and Larrell Murchison is going to be the next name that I believe ends up getting cut before the Tennessee Titans finalize that 53-man roster. Friendly reminder, it is going to be on Tuesday. The moves have to be in before 4 p.m. Eastern time, so Tuesday, August 30th. I think this one's just simple. Buried on the depth chart. And a lot of times, not that he's not a bad player by any means. Now, I don't think he makes many 53 squads. Probably going to be a practice squad dude. But you got Danico Autry, you got Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best interior defensive lineman in the National Football League, coming off a season where he had 11.5 sacks. And for that, Murchison just bared a little bit too much. Let's go to the defensive back room now. We're looking at Theo Jackson. And one of the key words that I really, truly believe Tennessee is going to be looking for, especially in their secondary this year, and it's kind of what all coaches, I do believe, like, versatility. And I don't know if Theo has that versatility compared to maybe somebody like a Tyree Gillespie, right? And there's just too many other options sitting ahead of him right now. You want to know the easiest way what a coaching staff thinks of players on other depth charts or buried on a depth chart? When they start going out and they make moves, right? You're making a trade, whether it be for Ugo, whether it be for Tyree Gillespie. Both of those players are simply more versatile, in my opinion. Now, you guys let me know, who would you cut? There's going to be a lot of players that I can't throw up on this show, right? For the simple fact of, one, if I threw up on here, it'd be kind of gross. For 2, there's 8 cut candidates. If I went through all 27, this would be a marathon, and I just simply don't have the water or the electrolytes for a marathon. So who would you cut? I'm curious what you guys have to say. Let's go to the next 2 names on the list here, Lonnie Johnson and A.J. Moore. Again, defensive back and now a safety. I think with both of these players, very similar things that I mentioned with Theo. It just comes down to depth. And the safety, heck, even the cornerback room for Tennessee, they have a lot of young players. There's definitely some injury concerns as well, but they're good young players. Like Kevin Byard's one of the best. Amani Hooker's one of the best out there. I like Tyree Gillespie personally. Yeah, you got A.J. Moore, but like ultimately, a lot of decisions that are going to have to be made here for the Tennessee Titans. So if you could only pick one, who would you pick? If you could keep one, let's say you got 52 guys on that roster. You're like, all right, whoever the last one is in. Is it AJ? Type AJ. If it's Lonnie Johnson, give me an LJ. I know Tom would disagree on this take, but kickers, punters, they're people too, and this is going to be the final name on today's show. Brett Kern. You only need one punter. I know it's not breaking news, but that's simply what it comes down to. Ryan Stonehouse is a tank. He's going to be your main punter for this season, and realistically, not that it's bad to see him out there on the field, but it is kind of bad to see your punter out there, so keeping 2 of them, unless they can do something else, maybe be a holder, but even that, man, nope, it's not going to happen. So who do you think, y'all? Pick a punter. You going to go with Goldilocks, or you going to go with Brett Kern? RS for Stonehouse, BK for Brett Kern. A lot of questions on today's show, so hopefully you had your morning coffee. Hopefully maybe if you needed it, put a little extra in that coffee to, you know what I'm talking about, get locked in. So this is the end of the show, y'all. And around Chat Sports, we want to know who makes it to the end of our video. So if you did, as far as I'm concerned, I consider you a real one. So if you made it to the very, very end of the video, spam real one for a shout out.